Hey there. So, you guys probably already know, my name's Ronnie and I quite like slang. It's kind of groovy, yo. Quite enjoy it. And I like to teach slang because it's fun and it's how we normally talk, and it makes you sound more natural in English and it makes you cooler. I'm just going to say it, okay? If you rock into a place, you go into a place, you rock into a place, and you know how to speak the local slang, you're just going to have a good time. If you walk or enter a building and you're kind of using language that's maybe older or kind of weird, you can still charm the people, but learning slang, it's kind of a way to get to the cool people where you are. So you also have to be careful though. As a person who's learning a new language, slang can be kind of difficult because what slang do you use? Like, how do you know what slang to study? How do you know what to use to kind of fit in? And there's different things you have to be aware of. So first of all, and this is one of the huge things that annoys the piss out of me, slang is uncountable. So as soon as you see people saying slangs on other instructional videos on the internet, turn it off because it's not slangs, it's slang. So you have to be careful that you're using appropriate slang, and it's going to be based on a couple things. The region, okay, the area, region or area, or the city, even the country where you live. I'm Canadian. I have a flag here, okay? And the slang that we have in Canada is very different from American slang. British slang, completely different from us. And not only is it focused on country, but area. Where I grew up, Niagara, represent, hi guys, we used to say mass. Like, oh, dude, that's mass cool. And we used to say dude a lot too. Now people say bro. And I'm like, I ain't your bro, dude. So you have to be careful about also the social group. If you're coming to Canada and you have a beautiful job and a nice executive suite, you don't want to be talking like a street kid, okay? You don't want to be saying, can I ask you something? When you're in business meetings. So you have to be very careful about your social group. Who are you talking to? Why? Your social group. Who you're hanging out with. This constructs your ID. ID means identification. So if you rock into a bar and you're speaking in Ebonics, which is now called something like American African Vernacular, and you're like, yo, hey, what's up, bro? And you're like a white person in like Philly or something, people can be like, okay, that's nice. Bye-bye. So you have to be careful about how your language identifies with you. It constructs your ID. Demographics. Your age. Okay. So if my mom rocked in here and she started being like, hey guys, what's up, dude? I'd be like, Mom, you okay, man? Because your age is deterrent, or it's going to tell you about what slang you should use and what you shouldn't use. If you're an older person and you're popping off with the young kids, they're going to maybe make fun of you. So be conscious of your age and, what's appropriate, age appropriateness. Demographics. This has to do with your job, where you live, your position in society, if that's a thing. And so, as I said from the top of the lesson, coming down, I'm from Canada. I'm Canadian. And I'm going to teach you some regional, area, country, social group constructs ID of Canada. Let's go. I like this one. Beaut. It's beauty, eh? It's a beaut. If something's beaut or beauty, it just means it's cool, wonderful. It doesn't necessarily mean it's beautiful. You say, hey, that's a beaut car. They're not like, oh, I want to shag your car. They're just saying it's cool or I like it. That's a beaut. I know it's weird. Doesn't matter if it's weird. I'm just teaching it to you, okay? Giver. When I was first researching this, I thought this was more American, like get or done. But giver is like give her when you break it down. But don't worry about what it really means. Worry about the slang part. Giver, this word chug. Chug, chug, chug. chug a beer means you drink it quickly. So let's say you're at a hot dog eating competition, as you do, and be like, give her, give her, give her. It means like eat faster. Or you're in a beer drinking competition. Give her means like drink it faster, eat it faster, do it faster, do anything you want, just do it faster, go, give her. Yeah, I guess at work, in a business meeting, you're not gonna be like, hey, Bob, give her. Bob's like, give her what? So be careful. Business meetings, not too much. I love this one. Okay, people say, I'm from Ontario. People say, I'm going to go out east or out west. And you're like, why are you going out? Out east means you're going to the east coast of Canada, Nova Scotia, Newfoundland, New Brunswick. Oh, PEI, good at geography. And out west, it's British Columbia, it's BC. There's other places out there, but predominantly, they're just going to BC to hang out. You go to Alberta, I guess. Then we have up north. Up north, up north. Up north is basically most of the population in Canada lives in the south part. North is like super cold, but you'll hear people say, I'm going to go up north for the summer. Like, where are you going, man? Like the Arctic Circle? They're like, no, 2 hours away on the highway. Oh, so up north basically means in Ontario, northern Ontario. So we've got up north. We don't say down south. Go down south. It's weird. Nobody goes down south. It doesn't happen. No. I like this one. Housecoat. It's a coat you wear in your house. You might know it as a robe or a bathrobe or even a dressing gown. So when I was thinking about this lesson, I was doing a survey on a McGill University website about how Canadians pronounce different words and what words they use for things. And this was one of them. And I thought, someone asked me, like, Ronnie, what do you say? And I say, I definitely say bathrobe because it's, no, sorry. I definitely say housecoat because I'm like, I'm in my house, definitely going to wear a coat. And bathrobe, I don't know. And robe, I think, is more American. Dressing gown is what my mom's going to say. It's older. Oh, Mom, you're not that old. But it's more formal. It might be more British too because everyone's just sitting around in gowns in England. Yeah, that's what's happening. So any of them you use is cool, but apparently this one is more common in Canada. Housecoat. You can say robe, bathrobe, dressing gown. It's up to you. How fancy are you? What are you doing after you get out of the bath or the tub? Please take a shower. I like this one, gitch. Oh, man. I use this all the time. Like, oh, man, got to get some new gitch. It means underwear. It's for male and female. We don't have to get into the panties, tea-back, thong conspiracy here. Gitch is underwear and use it all the time. Oh, man, nice gitch. Good. Like, hey, can you guys show me your gitch now? Oh, I like it. Yeah, good. Okay. Deke. This is cool. I think originally this is from hockey because, Canada and hockey. I don't play hockey. Don't like hockey either. Deke is a verb and it means like to move quickly out of the way. Maybe it's a football thing, but like, oh, I deked the puck. It means you moved out of the way of something. Like, oh man, I just deked this guy on his bike. It means you didn't hit them. Move out of the way. Do it. Deke it. Deke it. Boom, boom, boom. If you're playing dodgeball, you got to deke the ball. Someone's throwing a ball at your head. You go, deke that. Get out of there. Deke. That's a good name for a child. If any of you are having a child, male or female, do me a solid and name it Deke. Hey, Deke. What's up? You ready for kindergarten? Kitty corner. I like this because sometimes, and I just had this debate yesterday, my friend was saying that there's a new store that opened up across the street, but not across the street. And basically it came down to the store opened up diagonally, which is like up and down like this, across the street. So we don't actually have to say, the new store opened up diagonally across the street. We say, meow, meow, kitty corner. I don't know why it has to do with a cat. Why isn't it puppy corner or doggy corner? I don't know. But kitty corner means that something is diagonally across the street. That's cool. Thanks, Canada. I like that one. Snowbirds. You a snowbird? A snowbird is a person. Yes, it's not a bird. And they actually don't like snow. We shouldn't call them snowbirds. We should call them winter hater people. But snowbird sounds nicer. Snowbird is actually a kind of airplane that has groups and does flying things. No, it's not. Snowbirds are people, usually older, retired people who escape winter in Canada. They go to Florida, they go to Montana. I don't know if they go to Montana. I've just made that up. They go down to the southern part of America because it's close, right? If you look at a map, if you look at Toronto, and you go as far south as you can without getting the ocean, you're in Florida. So a lot of people go to Arizona, they go to Florida, they go to warm places during the winter. And they're like, bye, I'll see you in the springtime. So as soon as November hits, airplane, staying in the Florida Keys, getting a nice orange tan going on, and then they come back for the springtime. The birds. They're the birds. Okay. Hydro. If you're renting a place and it says hydro included, you're like, whoa, they got some hydroponics equipment going on free in this place. It is Canada after all, but unfortunately it doesn't mean hydroponics. It means electricity. Because our electricity supply is powered by hydro, which means water, hydroelectricity, Niagara Falls, that guy, that girl, they're giving us the power. I got the power. So hydro is actually electricity, but instead of saying electricity, we call it hydro because it's powered by water. Confused yet? Okay. This one's fun because I'll tell you why. Klick. Kilometer. In Canada, we don't have miles. Well, we do, but we don't talk about them, okay? Don't talk about the miles. We measure things in kilometers or km. And I was teaching my student, and instead of saying kilometer, he said tequila meter. And I was like, oh my God, dude. That's going to be my new slang. It's like, how many tequila meters does it take to get to the next bar? Because I'm like, it's 5 tequila meters, 3 tequila meters. Perfect. You can make up your own slang. That's the fun of it. So you can say a klick, you can say a kilometer, or you can say tequila meter. Not a vodka meter. It has to be tequila meter. Okay. I like this one too. Okay. Oh, I didn't write a definition. Bad teacher, I'll tell you. Okay. Hang a Larry. My friend told me this and I was like, what the hell, Larry? Why are you talking about Larry again? He's so popular. Hang a Larry actually means, and let me get a marker for this one. Turn left. Yeah. So Larry apparently means left. And can you guess what Roger is? Roger's a person. It means turn right. So if someone says, hey, hang a Larry, and then it's on the kitty corner, they're saying like turn left. And if they say hang a Roger, it means right. Which kind of makes sense. That's good. It's not opposite. So hang a Larry means turn left. Hang a Roger means turn right. I think those are cool. I don't know why does it have to be men? Doesn't matter. And this is a good one. I like this. It's my champagne birthday. It's not. I actually had that a couple of years ago. But basically your champagne birthday is this. Let me get the marker out for this one. I was born on the 22nd of a month. I'm not telling you what it is. I'm so secretive. So when I turned 22, on the 22nd, that is my champagne birthday. So what you do is you take your birth date. Let's say you're born on the 19th. So you're born on the 37th. Oh. No, never mind. So it only works when you're young. Okay, up to 30. After that, you get no champagne. You're getting straight tequila. Okay, so champagne birthday is the date of your birth and then your age. And that makes your birthday super special. So you hear people say, it's my champagne birthday. It's like, dude, the calendar doesn't have 40 days. What's going on over there, Larry? Oh, you're lying about your age. Okay. It's not your champagne birthday. Okay. It's like your beer gut Molson muscle birthday, Larry. Okay, so when's your champagne birthday? You take the date of your birth and your age. And if it's the same, you're going to have some champagne on it. There's a lot of new slang happening, and you can tune into this channel and I'll teach it all to you. I'm gonna go get her done. I'm gonna go get her, give her, whatever. I'm just gone. Bye. Hey.